Hello, assalamu alaikum, Gianu, Pakhairagale, Nihama, Chunashume, Washbale, Ohio, Gonzaimas, Privat. Guten Morgen and hi, hugs and hellos to everybody who's tuned into PT World and PTV Global and are watching World this morning alongside the one and only Shahzad Khan. Thank you very much, everybody, first of all, for tuning in. It's time to rise and shine, wake and bake, get up, get all the energy, and get going because of the fact that, you have to work probably just to make a living. And then there are people who are not actually working to make a living. In fact, they're working to make a difference within the society. Now, today's show is based on two very different segments. Well, they're not interlinked or interconnected, but since, both of these issues were very pertinent to be discussed, so that's why we conjoined them, and that's what we're doing. So in the first half today, what we are doing is that we obviously know the foundation with the name of Overseas Pakistanis Foundation, who are actually working for all those people who do not reside within Pakistan or expats. And then, obviously they have issues. For example, they have land over here, they have so many different things. So this foundation is looking after them. And then in the second half, what we are doing is that since it's winters, so we're talking about dermatology, we're talking about, different techniques which are available right now. So, for all of you people who are tuned into PT1 and PTV Global right now, I think it's going to be very beneficial and a very efficient and effective show as well at the same time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with me, I'm very lucky that I've been joined with the chairman of the Board of Governors of Overseas Pakistanis Foundation, who's none other than Mr. Barrister Amjad. Malik, assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Ji, walaikum salam. I am well.
Thank you very much for coming over. Thank you very much for joining us. Even when you were here the last time, we wanted to have a show with you. We wanted to ask you certain questions, but, it was very unfortunate that we couldn't do it. But now, half of the time, ladies and gentlemen, what happens is that, chairmen, they do come and, they say that, we have done this and we have done this and we have done that. And then they can at times, and, with much respect, brag about it as well. So what we have done is that we have invited somebody else as well who's been a member of the Overseas Pakistani Foundation for more than 30 years now. He's a politician himself, he's an entrepreneur, he's been living in England as well. And we just wanted to check whether, all of these things which they say are right, are correct, are in shape, or the system's there or not. And he's none other than Mr. Ilyas Khan. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Thank you, Ji. I'm very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming over. So, sir, we'll get the conversation started with Ilyas Saab. So, Ilyas Saab, you have been affiliated with the Overseas Pakistanis Foundation for more than 30 years. How has been your experience so far?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting us.
Thank you very much.
PTV News. This is a very serious issue that you are discussing today.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a matter of life and death for us as overseas Pakistanis.
Okay.
Because we have been struggling for past 50 years almost. I became a member of this organization in around early 85.
All right.
And my thought and idea was, when I read their aim and objective, I thought they are the best organization that will represent us as overseas Pakistanis.
All right.
And we will be able to develop Pakistan further, achieve our goal. But unfortunately, I have to say, they have not done anything except publicizing their own prime ministers or presidents or ministers in their offices, in their magazine. That's all they did. I was the probably first overseas member in UK in that time.
Okay.
Actually, I was persuaded by Benazir Bhutto to become a member.
All right.
And I did. And then I started getting a magazine called Yaran-e Watan.
All right.
I still got them after 30 years.
Very nice.
And believe you me, they are full of color photograph.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
All right, so I think that's where I hold you. Just stick there wherever you stop. Now, sir, coming back to you. So you've heard him. He says that it's all words. There are no actions in it. What do you have to say about it, first of all, and then we'll get going.
Thank you very much. I think things are moving in the right direction. Like we had a discussion last time, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has set up a new board,
Nice.
taking people from abroad. That's why I think he took up somebody, a professional from UK, Europe, somebody from America, somebody from Gulf, so that the perception which has been portrayed by Ilyas Khan, maybe rightly so, should be changed. And normally the board used to sit 4 times a year. I think we have had our sittings, I think, almost every month. and we are sitting every month till December just to gauge what are the problems. We had set up a new mission and vision and objectives. Things are moving in the right direction, and we're quickly moving in. Board had a, I think, 137th session yesterday. We approved OPEC, Overseas Pakistani Advisory Council. So we are taking around about 100 people from abroad like us. They will come, they will be our think tank. They will advise people like Ilyas Khan that what should be done to like change the nuclear changes in OPF. And I think I am happy being a professional coming and wasting my time from there. And I think the things are now going in right direction. They were investing energy, money, attention only on few subjects and projects, wasting a lot of funds and money. I think we are redirecting sources and attention and time on the right subjects.
That's very great. I think that the initiative is obviously greater as well, and then obviously you cannot relate it to by saying that, you know, we've been wasting our time by coming over here if the things are going in the right direction. But what I want to know right now is that if this Overseas Pakistanis Foundation have been working or have been existing like for over decades now, why do you think that now all the advisory has to come in? Why do you think that now things need to go into the right direction? Why do you think that the earlier, whichever government it may probably be, I mean, irrespective of that fact, do you think that people who were part of the foundation, they weren't really on merit, or, you know, they weren't taking any action? What happened then?
2-3 things. I think political interference. OPF has been badly misused in the past, number one. Number two, they were setting up projects in which they were not experts. Even if they were not experts, they were not taking the right advice. For example, setting up housing projects like in Mirpur colony, Zone 5 colony in Islamabad, no right advice, no right orientation that where this money will be spent, who will get these houses. Now this OPF is run by the workers who go abroad for work. We send 1 million workers to Saudi Arabia and Gulf. Now their main initiative was only to look after their family, nothing else. UK was missing, Europe was missing, America was missing. These people have worked hard and they've made their name, they've made their businesses, but they are missing somewhere in OPF.
I think I'll move on to Ilyas over. Now, Ilyas, how do you think that this advisory council which has been created will be helpful to all of those Pakistanis who are working abroad?
Well, with due respect to Barrister Amjad Sahib, I think it is a waste of time, because my 50-year experience shows the only people who will be appointed in that committee or in the board are friends of either chairmen or ministers or a member of a political parties.
So let's just ask him.
No,
then.
I think I've met Mr.
Can
Khan
I finish
for the
my
first time.
sentence? I mean, this is not a criticism to this chairman, because
should
he
be,
recently been appointed.
Exactly.
First of all, we are talking about the past 40, 50 years, what they've done. Actually, they've done nothing. If you read their aim and objective, they have not achieved a single thing. They have wasted public money. I mean, I am from Attak. We are the second biggest majority of immigrants in UK and in Saudi Arabia. After Mirpur, Kashmiris. If you go to Attak, there is not a single thing they have ever done, or Attak people have ever been invited to any of their meetings.
Point made, sir, and I've got certain issues to discuss as well.
I will.
I want to come back to that.
If there is a
I'm going
break
to
time,
I'm going to point it towards you, but in a very different way. Now, whatever he's saying, he's probably experienced it. How do you think that, you know, since he just mentioned as well, and we know it, that you have been recently appointed and you're trying your hard, and as harder as you can, you're doing that. Every month you are here, you know, you discuss things, the sessions are taking place. I mean, we do not have doubts about you, but how are you ensuring merit now?
No, yeah, that's what I'm answering, this OPEC thing. We drafted the concept, we set up a law, and we have asked all the embassies overseas to select names and forward the names to the board. We'll then set up a nomination committee. Nomination committee will then sift and recommend names to the board. So those names which will arrive from the embassies. Then the board will approve 70 names. We are giving 40% share from Gulf, 30% to UK, Europe, 30% to America, Canada and the rest of the world. Now, this is the first time people will be taken from UK, Europe and America. I have already accepted that the inference and attention was only to Gulf.
Yeah.
Now it is changing. So I can't say that ministers, friends, and nobody has asked me to put the name.
So are you
all
going-
those names are coming from missions, embassies, people who have worked tirelessly in those regions. I'm meeting Ilyas Khan for the first time. Whilst he was sitting, I've set my office, set up a meeting with him, take his suggestions on board. So he should come and give his experience. In 50 years, if they haven't made any change, let's see. Let's see.
It's about time now.
Yes.
No, I think Barrister Saab is very wrong in here, because we have achieved a lot. As a single-handed person, we set up more schools, more beds in hospitals all over Pakistan.
All right.
The reason is we don't publicize ourselves. This is my way of working in UK. But also, I like to know from now, this chairman, the overseas embassies, if you look at their criteria of selecting people, they only bring their friends, not the people who are genuinely working for the
Ilyas Sahab, I
community.
truly get your point. But now the thing is that, since he's a newly appointed chairman as well, he's trying his, as hard as he can, he's trying obviously. But now what we need to do is we probably need to put our trust in him, give him some time and let's see. And then, later on what we can probably do is, all of these things are being noted. It's on record, people out there, because the show is on PTV Global as well, 46, 50 different countries, people can watch it. It's on record. So Barrister Sahab, whatever he's saying, obviously he'll have to fulfill it. That's not a problem. But now where the problem lies is that, if he's got a concern that, okay, this is what happens and it shouldn't just be friends, how will you satisfy him in the first place that, okay, since we have got committees and then the nominations will take place, how will you ensure that you are not going to take any pressure from any of the minister or anybody else in the government as well?
No, I think, this is the first government, I think,
Yeah.
who is trying to do something for overseas. I think we've set up in Punjab, first the Overseas Commission in Punjab is working for 2 years now. They have I think, role model grievance commissioner, and they've dealt with around about 4,000 complaints. They've set up advisory committees in all 36 districts. Now we are taking those commissions to AJK and all other provinces. Secondly, I think the housing projects, we're trying to audit those projects, why those projects were delayed, why they haven't completed it. This interference, I think board is all in all. And the board is run not on the government money, but the money which has been collected from the people, workers who go abroad, nobody else.
Yeah.
And I think it's a public limited company, and the sorting out the district is the job of the government. Our job is to look after the welfare of the overseas people who are going abroad, who have families behind, and who have issues. Our doors are open.
And you vowed to do that.
Yeah, it's on website.
Very nice. Now I've got
everybody.
some very pertinent issues related to people who were actually obviously residing outside Pakistan. First of all, they say that the NADA registration fee is quite high for them. So what are we doing in these terms?
In Nadra, I think there are 4 or 5 issues. I met the chairman last time. We raised this issue of raising the fee. They said it's the pound and dollar depreciation. We have said that with the value of pound and dollar, you cannot really fluctuate your fees. So they are looking into it. It's their board which will decide, but we've raised it. We've also restored the Nadra mobile surgeries in UK because they stopped it. We've asked them to curtail the fee for the pensioners because in Pakistan, you get Nadra card free after 60 or it's unlimited. But for people who are in UK and abroad, they'll have to pay the same
need to get
fee.
an icon.
Yeah, so we asked them to reduce it.
How much is the fee?
I think it's a £96 urgent fee, but it starts from I think 70 plus to, but raised it I think £20 or something.
All right, and then the next
but
thing.
Then we asked for reduced fee for the disabled people.
All right.
And we have asked them to reduce fee on online registration. So they've asked to look after, but they've restarted the mobile surgeries. So they're going different towns and setting up.
Does it look like a good omen to you?
It sounds good because actually barristers are used to giving a nice talk in no matter where they go. So it sounds nice. But I totally disagree with the fees. I think it should be reduced. It's too much. Another thing is, why should I pay a fees to show them every 5 years that I'm a Pakistani? No, I'm a Pakistani for life. Another card should be issued for once and forever. not renewable.
I think the card is
mean,
very
above
nominal.
60, it's
600 rupees the card, but it's the NICOP which
Yeah,
is
it is
expensive. But the NICOP is not only the card; it's a visa-free entry for 10 years to
Exactly.
Pakistan. So
Yeah,
that's
but
why
I mean, I'm a Pakistani. Why do I need that to come to Pakistan?
I think they should be. This is a dichotomy. I think Nadra card, if somebody has got the machine readable passport, then he should only have the Nadra card, which is just a
this
symbol.
is the next problem.
But the most difficult thing is
Yeah.
the people who goes there and the way the staff treat them, the way they, I mean, to be honest, some of those staff who work in that Nadra office could hardly speak English. And if you talk to them on telephone, it's impossible to understand them.
No, but because you're a
That's-
Pakistani,
They are appointed, they are appointed.
I mean, it's a Pakistani embassy. People should actually talk in Urdu over there. Why not?
No.
Because everybody who's from Pakistan
No.
is going over there.
I
Therefore,
visited Manchester
Anyways,
consulate
yeah.
before coming here,
Yeah.
and I myself made my passport. I sat in queue and met people who were there. I think things are changing quite
But
a lot.
Shahzad
drastically.
Saab-
Sir.
So I think what he should do is when he visits next time, he should set up a visit.
And then, you know,
with
Ilyas
the
Saab-
No, the
Manchester
reason
consulate.
you said, why don't they speak Urdu when they go to Pakistan embassy? The children who are born in UK, they speak English fluently
Yeah,
rather
exactly.
than Urdu.
Exactly.
So their main language is English.
Exactly.
It's easy for them to communicate.
But obviously,
the
children are
people-
going to go with their parents. Sir. I mean, that's
But
not
there is-
really.
but it's not
there
that
is no
simple.
harm to take a staff
But if
from
there's
locally,
somebody, but if
customer
there's
service.
somebody
Take
who
the
can
staff
speak
locally.
English, yeah.
There is
Locally,
no harm. Who minds the phone? And
Probably an interpreter should be
Yeah.
there that, you know, if somebody's there, you know, they cannot speak in Urdu, somebody would actually come and tell them, you know,
No, it
this is
should
what
be a
is
mixed
happening.
up. It can be a mixed
It's
up.
perfectly
That's
all right.
fine.
Okay, but the next problem is provision of, you know, machine readable passports and then those machines as well at the missions.
I think it is a mandatory now to make a machine readable passport because a lot of countries do not let you come in unless
Exactly.
you have a machine readable passport, including the Saudi Arabia. So we had our discussion with the Secretary Interior Arif Khan and learned that there are 26 countries left where machine readable passport machines are not installed or available. They said that we have put a target of completing this by end of I think it's mandatory by end of this year, but I think most likely we'll have most of the missions by end of 2017. But it's mandatory.
By
that's
the end
why
of 2017 or 16?
I think a requirement is by 2016.
Yeah.
But we'll ensure that the remaining missions should complete their targets in the next 12 months. But the main missions carrying now the operation, for example, in Gulf, in UK, in America, all the missions, there are machine readable passports available. It's the different countries now
Exactly.
where the missions are not printing the machine readable passports. But I think it's in their knowledge. I have met the Secretary Interior. We are chasing them, and hopefully I'll have a meeting with DG Passports on this visit.
And it will be done,
Yes.
inshallah, as well. Yeah, Ilyas sir.
I just need to make a couple of points on this aim and objective of
machine
this
readable.
organization. They say they set a counter on airport. Actually, the counter is there, but there's nobody working there for past 10 years.
No, there are counters on 8
There are
passports.
counter, but there's nobody there to work on it.
All right.
It's a desk called counter. It's written on it, counter for overseas Pakistani, but there's not a single person.
No, but if the desk is there, that probably means that there might be somebody.
I-
working
But
there.
I made
I
an
think
inquiry
Ilyas
in the past
Khan
10
is
years,
talking
and I think I
from-
got a record. I asked the people who work there,
Yeah.
anybody work there? No. We never see them.
All right, we'll look
That's
into
one
it,
thing.
but then there are other important
the
issues.
counter.
Yeah, and that's the
And
guy
that's
over
The
there.
counter is there.
It's a- no,
And
that's
the guys
man.
over there too.
Yeah, but you can
Well,
take a photo and you can
No,
take.
that's man.
Okay,
I
it's
said
all right. It's all right. We do not want an argument over here.
There
I
is
mean,
a-
the
there is a
disagreements.
eight-
Fact
there
of
is a-
life.
There are 8 counters
Yeah.
on all major airports
Yeah.
where overseas Pakistanis are going and coming. The counters are set up with the assistance and with the cooperation of the civil aviation.
All right.
It's not our mandate, but
Exactly.
we have not only set up counter with OPF, but the counters are with the 8 different departments like passport, Nadra, and I think immigration. So they have like a big counter, facilitation desk we call it.
Exactly, exactly.
And there are 8 different departments.
And
there.
Ilyas Sahib, I truly get your point. You know what happens over here as well, if you go to the airport, the guy might be going somewhere, you know, he's eating or probably he's out for lunch.
But
That
what,
can happen.
what he should do is each visit he goes there, he should go to that counter. If there is no staff, take a picture,
Yeah.
and there is a box There is a box, there is a number. Just WhatsApp it.
I think Amjad Saab is talking the British way of life. This is Pakistan.
Well, that's why I was brought.
This is Pakistan. No, I've been there longer than you have been.
So I don't
it's all right.
But can I just explain?
Yeah, sure.
If you go today to Islamabad airport,
Yeah.
there will be nobody there to start with. I'm saying this on the record. Secondly, every time we overseas Pakistani goes abroad, on the airport, I'm talking about Islamabad International Airport, we are being asked bribery of £15, £20 all the time. We made a complaint. Every 400 people every day make a complaint. If you put a notice in the letterbox, who empty the letterbox? They themselves.
That's a complaint cell which is set up by the Federal Ombudsman Office.
Right.
So the complaints go to directly
Exactly.
to the Federal Ombudsman. Like what I take his point. What we have started doing it, that those facilitation desks should have a police officer as well.
Yeah.
So that becomes a police station. So that people
Okay, sir, I get it. But now that there are more important issues to be discussed,
Yes.
you know, there are people who want to probably listen to all of these things, whether they're working on it or not.
Yes.
So the next issue is the issuance of collector's certificate for the overseas Pakistani.
It's a big issue. It's a big issue. Like, for example, if anybody, my daughter comes and work here for a few months, go back, when she applies, she needs to have a character certificate or a clearance certificate from the local district police. When they make a request through the embassy there, I think the duration is around about 3 to 6 months to get that letter back. We have asked the Secretary Interior to arrange a focal person.
Exactly.
So that we write to them and he makes sure that that is arranged within at least 7 days. I think he has taken on board. So if the focal person is appointed, at least one with each IGP, then what will happen is that all requests will go to that focal person and he'll get it done through the district police officer. We have tried to curtail it. At the moment, the duration is 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
We are trying to bring it to 7 days to 30 days.
Okay, very
Hopefully
nice.
it will be done.
Great, that is. But moving on, you know, the other issue, why do you think that this mobile registration service was suspended by Nadra? I mean, it seems like as if quite a lot of people had
I think
trouble.
Nadra has miscalculated the need. They thought it's too costly exercise, but there was a risk of losing the data because people started setting up the mobile surgeries themselves privately and they were not regulated. And there was a risk that we can lose the ID and the information of other people. So we went to Nadra and said, look, if you stop these mobile surgeries, though it will cost you a little bit extra, but you will not be able to serve the elderly people, the pensioners, elderly women, or people who can't visit your office because of disability. They have taken on board and quickly restored it. The mobile
Is it being restored
surgeries,
now?
yes.
Okay, so mobile registration is
surgery,
open, you
yes.
guys can do it, you know,
In UK
it's there.
especially.
And if it's not, what you can do is that probably, you know, all of these issues which we are discussing and how Barrister Sahab has answered them all, and then, you know, Ilyas Sahab has obviously got his own concerns. What you can do is that you guys can obviously log on to World This Morning's Facebook fan page, which is obviously with the name of World This Morning once again. Let us know about all of these issues, whether all of what is being said and done, is it there, is it in shape, is it in place or not? And if it's not, then we'll obviously try to get Chairman Sahab back over here on the show and then we'll have another discussion. But now, you know, I think the biggest problem is for all those people who are expats, who are not living over here, they've got properties over here, and they have quite a lot of issues concerning to that. Now, how do you intend to solve all of those problems? Because, you know, it's their hard-earned money. And then by the end of the day, if they come back and they have nothing left, I think that's quite an issue.
Yes, it's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
People invest their life saving in a house, property, commercial plot or agricultural land. They go abroad, work tirelessly for 30 years, come back, the land is not there or confiscated. We set up a commission in Punjab and as a model to see. So executive side, they set up advisory committees in each district. So they've got a DPO, DCO, DRO, one overseas member and one member of parliament. So that committee tries to resolve the issues within 3 months. But the problem lies when the matter goes to court and somebody take a stay order, somebody start a civil suit. That's an onerous proceedings, takes years to conclude and a very old system. We have gone and met with the Federal Ombudsman Office Commissioner, Hafiz Ehsan, RDG, and I myself went to the Secretary Law and Justice Commission day before yesterday.
Yeah.
We said that if you amend the Law and Justice Commission 2008 guidelines and make it binding for each district to have only one designated judge who listens to the cases, finish it within 6 months, one case, only one judge listens to the case,
Yeah.
no stay order more than 72 hours, and the main cause is heard and adjudicated on. They have given a big relief to the residents of Indian Punjab, the Sikhs, for the agricultural land. They set up tribunals. We've asked the Prime Minister to set up tribunals, special tribunals for overseas Pakistanis, so that if the tribunals are not coming in like a year or 2 years to come, we want, in the meantime, Law and Justice Commission to amend guidelines wherever the matter is concerning overseas Pakistani. It should be before one judge. The stay order should be disposed of.
Do you think it will happen in near future? I mean, any hopes?
Well, it was not happened before.
Yeah.
And we are starting it. So let's see. It should have been done long ago. When the judicial policy was set up in 2008, it should have been included at that time. But I think.
But now it's your responsibility.
But I think we have come. Even this is like a 10-year struggle that we've been asking for tribunals. We've been asking for courts, not only to General Musharraf, then the respective governments, then to the Nawaz Sharif. So it's in the pipeline. We are asking for specialist courts.
Yeah.
But it's a legislation required, so it will take time. It's not OPF's better to set up courts, it's the government. So, but we are asking it, but whilst in the meantime the courts are coming, we ask the courts to set up judicial policy, ask the judges to judicate.
And it
the
will
matters.
take time. I mean, it will obviously, because it's related to the legislation.
But the land mafia is a big issue, and it's not on the executive, it's the judiciary.
So if land mafia is a big issue, I mean, we do not have much time, we have to wrap it up as well. But if land mafia is such a big issue, why don't you take on board the local law enforcement agencies as well?
The local law enforcement agencies are on board.
To get rid of these mafias, first of all.
No, that's why the Punjab Commission was set up.
And then
to filter.
And then in days to come, are
we
going to see such a thing in KPK, Gilgit-Baltistan, Sindh, and Balochistan?
We have written to all provinces, chief secretaries, to take that model of Punjab Overseas Commission and make a law and enact those in KPK, Balochistan, Sindh and AJK. I met Masood Khan, the president of AJK, a day before yesterday, and we have given them the blueprint to bring it in AJK, because the AJK residents are in Gulf and around about 1 million, I think, is in UK.
Very nice and amazing. But one last thing, anything you want to say, Ilyas, before I wrap up the segment?
Well, I think this will sound good, because I was one of the members who set up this overseas commissioner thing. There were 4 of us from the beginning. And you are right, we need a local people, because you can't, judge from here sitting in Gilgit, what's happening in Gilgit or Sindh. Well, final thing is, I mean, I really think we need to have more program on this issue, especially investment in Pakistan. People who want to investment here, there's a lot of problem for us.
We will definitely talk about that too, but since, we have to wrap up the segment, but thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming over. And I've got my hopes, obviously, and you've been here twice now, and you are always willing to discuss whatever the issues are.
All the time.
You guys met for the very first time. For all those people who might be thinking that, that it's a setup or whatever, we don't do that on PTV World, man, literally. So, I mean, he said what he wanted to say, and he said what he's probably trying to do as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming over. And for all those people who are out there who are not in Pakistan and who've got some other issues which they want to discuss, you only have to write to us. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a short break, but don't go anywhere, because when we are going to come back, we're going to talk about hair fall, we're going to talk about all of those diseases which might occur, in this season. Let's take a break. Good morning.
largest cultural activity in Pakistan is the annual National Folk Festival, Lok Mela, held in Islamabad in October each year. Over the past 2 decades, this festival has taken on an international flavour, and more than 20 different countries have sent their artisans and performers to participate in the festival. Nationally, the festival has become a thing of pride for artisans and performers who come on their own to participate. Most important of all, the provinces of Pakistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir put up beautifully decorated pavilions, and visitors had the unique opportunity to see an assortment of Pakistan's traditionally rich culture in the federal capital of Islamabad for an exciting 10 days. An exhibition of artisans at work under the banner of the Heritage Museum.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And for everybody who just tuned into PTY, you're watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan. And earlier we were talking about all of the problems which were pertinent or related to overseas Pakistanis. So the chairman of the Overseas Pakistanis Foundation was here on the show, and we discussed quite a lot of issues. And, you know, we have given away all of the links that where they can post if they have other issues anyways. But now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, for people like me and other celebrities out there who want to get their head full of hair, what they need to do is probably go for a hair transplant. Now, hair transplant, since we evolved, obviously as humans, you know, earlier we used to ignite fire by stones, now we've got matches, now we've got lighters. So there have been newer technologies, and this is what we wanted to discuss, and I'm thankful that, you know, I've been joined by one of those names, which are actually very big over here in this town and probably all around Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Waka, and where else. What a lovely lady she is. In fact, just because of the fact that the type of work she does, I mean, quite a lot of my friends, I have recommended them to go to her for their hair transplants, and they have got best results. She's none other than Dr. Amna Usman, who's a dermatologist, cosmetologist, and a laser therapist as well. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming in. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much, Azad, for inviting me here.
No problem at all.
Always a pleasure coming here.
Thank you very much once again. Okay, so first of all, let's start with hair fall. Why do you think it takes place anyways? I mean, it's yeah, it kills you at times.
Yeah, actually, we're talking about the hair. Hair fall is a very general issue. It persists in even the newborn child, ranging to the women and the men out there. Basically, it is more of a problem of the men. After the age of 18, 19, that is more like hormonal issue.
Right.
And for the women, probably these days we are being deficient of many multivitamins, plus the vitamin D, calcium, folic acid, zinc and all. So for the ladies of this age group, they're probably deficient of these certain things. And for men in this age, generally it is androgenic.
And is it normal?
It's actually not normal, but it is seen quite frequently, as in doing our OPD, probably 70% of the OPD persist of all these hair fall patients. And these, it's very surprising that nowadays we're receiving patients even at the age of 11, 12 years, 13 years, they're having a huge hair fall. Probably the reason I would claim would be the type of diet we're being taking, all the hormonal ingredients we have in our protein diets, and obviously the dairy products. Also,
because they're not organic anymore.
Probably yes. They're not organic anymore. Plus, the hair of the scalp are decreasing, and the hair of the body are increasing. Yeah. So maybe there's a imbalance of the hormones in the diets we're taking.
All right.
Rest. For the men, it's very, it's considered as normal, because after the age of 18, 19 years, probably 50-60% of the men get bald.
I mean, it's obviously considered normal for all those men who actually got married when they had a
yeah,
head full of hair.
Definitely.
So otherwise, it's perfectly all right.
It's very commonly seen.
So I'm going to discuss about some different techniques which are available right now for hair transplant, and if you can let us know, because it's very difficult for, a normal person to decide whether which therapy or which treatment to opt for. So first of all, what is PRP and what does it do?
Actually, PRP is not the part of the hair transplant, whereas we can do the PRP and in addition to hair transplant to bring out better results.
Okay.
PRP standard states for platelet-rich plasma. This is the platelet of your own blood. We take out your blood in a syringe and then we centrifuge it at certain speed, and then we put on some ingredients to activate the platelets in your blood. And then we re-inject into the scalp. PRP is a very phenomenal thing these days, and it's getting a huge importance in the market because it works in all sort of alopecias, and not only in alopecia. Alopecia, I mean hair loss.
Yeah, I know.
So probably I'm bringing in
All right, so
easier
I
words
mean, if you have a bald patch on your head or probably somewhere else.
Or if you're reducing your hair of the scalp, so if you just get the PRP done, it'll be like the results don't come overnight, but obviously if you have 2-3 sessions on regular intervals, definitely you'll see good results. And a good point about PRP is this, that we don't see any side effects with this. Maybe a little of pain while the procedure or afterwards, maybe half an hour, 1 hour, and that's it. Only you see with PRP is the better results.
All right, so PRP is not basically a hair transplant, but you can get better results if you got done with the hair transplant, or probably if you had alopecia.
And if you're just having diffuse hair loss, like for no other reason, you're unaware of the reason, you're having a hair loss like at the age of 13 years, 14 years, 18 years, 20 years, both for male and for female. Or sometimes the ladies face the hair fall after they get their hair too much dyed and reboundings and all. So obviously after that PRP helps.
So any side effects of PRP?
No, none. None. If it's truly hygienic and the true protocol of hygiene have been followed, so no side effects. But you have to be strictly seeing this, that where you're getting it done, because obviously if you malpractice PRP, you can thoroughly transfer hepatitis B, C, and many other diseases that can be transferred via blood.
All right. So now next thing, okay, I've been reading it on very different billboards. They said TSU. I don't know what the name of the technology is, that what do they do, and it's related to hair transplant. TFU, I don't know.
No, they're actually the two technologies that are very famous here. One is FUT and one is FUE.
Sorry.
Yeah. So FUT, we do a cut. We take out a strip of the scalp and then we divide it into different follicles and then we re-inject it. This has been considered old because
it's
obviously
obsolete
it's actually considered obsolete, but it has certain importance still in the market because it has got a scar. A big scar left, then your hairline is reduced, obviously, and then the scar is there to let anybody knows that you've had a hair transplant for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So for this particular reason, people don't like going for FUT. If you compare the results are equally comparable. Plus, there are certain areas where you can't go to FUE, like that is follicular unit extraction and implantation. That is non-surgical. I mean, like in general terms, it's non-surgical. Non-surgical means there's no cut, no scar, no bleeding, nothing else. We just take out single follicle, re-inject on the follicle again. But there are certain limitations where we can't practice FUE.
Why?
Because if the donor area of the patient is too less, so we can't really do the FUE technique.
So
all right, so we have to take out the strip and do because in a strip we take more number of follicles, and they're even better follicles than FUE.
All right. I mean, I truly get it. So I think I've got a donor area, so I'll probably opt for FUE.
Yeah, obviously FUE is a lot better because there's no downtime. You don't have to rest. You don't have to stay in home, laying on the bed for like next 7 to 10 days. It's just 1 day procedure. You get it done today, and the next day on, you can have your normal ordinary
And is it
routine.
necessary to shave your head before getting that treatment?
It is actually better to shave your head, but however, we can manage it if you have long hair, like for women. Generally, we don't go for the complete shaving of the hair. We just shave the hair of the donor area a bit, maybe leaving the center of the hair with the long hair.
I mean, obviously, I don't want a lady to look like a man.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so moving on, the next thing is biotin injections. What's that?
Yeah, biotin injections is like when you're doing PRP, or if you're not doing PRP, biotin is a very important ingredient for our hair. For the hair growth, for the hair length, for the hair texture and everything, for hair health, in short. So currently in the market there have been injections that have biotin in them, plus many other ingredients that are truly needed for your hair health. So these are particularly for those ladies and for men. Those have a good sort of hair, but still they have weaker hair and a good volume with a weak texture and easily breakable hair and split ends and all. So who have poor health of the hair but still good volume. So they can go for PRP and biotin, they're brilliant results.
That's it. I mean, but it's not for the people who've got alopecia or who've got hair fall.
No, for alopecia, if the alopecia is diffuse or for some sort of nutritional deficiency or all, you can go for PRP, it's good.
And where did you get these biotin injections? In your head?
Yeah, in the scalp. All the injection for the hair, you inject it in the scalp.
Just the scalp, not the skull.
Yeah, no,
I was
not the
just
skull,
thinking
yeah.
about it. What if you just sneeze and the needle goes somewhere else? Oh
no,
my God.
no, it's done
that's
only
very
over the
dangerous. Okay,
scalp
very
skin, yeah.
quickly, microneedling, tripolar, and anti-aging. Well, anti-aging, let's just leave it. Microneedling first.
Probably you have too many messages to ask, right?
Yeah.
Different.
I mean, they're just coming in.
Okay, the tripolar is like a very quick idea for all those people who have a very saggy skin. Like probably there are ladies across 30 or men across 30, and then they have like a very loose skin over their face, and then the double chin, and then the creases on the neck.
Yeah.
So they can quickly, if they're having like an event in 5 to 6 weeks time, they can get their sessions done with tripolar and get their skin firmed in only 5 weeks. And brilliant results, wonderful
And do you
idea.
have to go for these sessions like again and again after every 6
yes,
months,
actually,
after a year?
Yes, actually, it's not that the procedure brings something that deteriorates you further. It's actually you're aging day by day. So the deterioration in your own skin is like increasing day by day. If you're at the age of 20 years, you're not aging. If you're at 30 years, probably you're aging 10%. But if you're at age 50 years and 55 years, obviously you're aging 45%.
Yeah.
All right, then the deterioration level is quite high because your hormones go down, and there are many other factors.
All right, but Dr. Saiba, there's one more thing which I wanted to ask, and that is that, there are people over here who claim that, that we have brought in regenerative medicine as well, and then they take out your stem cells and then they inject it back into the skin. Is it a good practice? Do you think people should opt for that too?
Actually claiming that we take out the stem cells from your own cell, probably for now, in dermatology, probably it's not being practiced that way. But the stem cells, there are certain areas who claim that we have stem cells, but probably believing them that they are actually stem cells. I'm like, believing in science or believing in the vial that have stem cells. It's not like possible. But yes, stem cells are growing in the field. For rejuvenation purpose, PRP works the best.
All right, very nice. So last thing, okay, obviously we have discussed microneedling, tripolar, and anti-aging.
Anti-aging is like is a huge field. We have many things to talk on anti-aging, starting from the diet, environment, take care, cosmetics, night creams, day creams, and everything. And then your wrinkles, and then your sagging, and then your pores, and then your pigmentation, and many things. So
I think we'll probably have to do another show
we can,
for that too. And we're running out of time as well. Anything which you want to say to people out there, who are very concerned about their hair loss, or probably that they're getting older and their skin's becoming saggy. Anything you want to say?
I would
Quick
actually,
advice.
I would like to say since you're too conscious for your skin and for your hair, please don't trust like XYZ. Trust science.
Yeah.
Science has evidence. Science have been spending millions to research, to bring out ideas, to bring out technologies. Trust science.
Yeah, because when it comes to health, obviously it can. I mean, obviously you can heal yourself with the essence of your religion and your faith, but when it comes to obviously doing something, obviously it should always be based on research. For example, when you drive a car, obviously aerodynamics, everything needs to come together, and then obviously it's possible to drive a car. Thank you very much, Dr. Saiba, for coming over. I mean, for all of those people, very sorry for that early in the morning, for all of those people who actually want to be in contact with Dr. Saiba, she's got her Facebook page with the name of Dr. Amna Usman Skincare. If I'm correct, that's what the Facebook page's name is. But if you have any other question and you want to ask us, all you need to do is that probably you have to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of Well This Morning. On Twitter, it's Well This Morning without a G. On Dailymotion on YouTube, it's Well This Morning once again. You can catch the fabulous repeat as 11 p.m. tonight And you know, Dr. Saiba's clinic is in Wakend, so if anybody wants to pay her a visit, you can probably do that too. You know, I've given you the Facebook page, so go ahead, do it yourself. I've discussed all of those issues. So, but later on, whenever we're going to come back, we're going to come back with anti-aging.
Yeah,
Thank you very
sure.
much, Dr.
Thank
Saiba,
you
once
so much.
again. And for everybody who's out there, please look after yourself. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Bye.